Well, the interior surface of the mihrab has been given three-story defect. The first story is composed of the real mihrab that was built in the form of a alcove. Above that, a band of a band, and above the band again there is a arch, you can say arched story. And this mihrab in itself a great achievement so far as the architectural accomplishment is concerned. This is the first mihrab, and now this mihrab has been provided a member on the right side, and it is a three-stepped member. It was built with white marble, and the existence of this, and apart from it, one thing is very noticeable. On the both side of the mihrab there is a white marble dado. Again, it is very intrigued how white marble was found in this structure, since during the period of Akbar marble was not used, and even the member was built with white marble. It is inscribed with in white marble. Even the back side of the member is having a lattice perforated with some geometrical diagonal square style. So one thing is quite clear, though this mosque was built by Akbar, but it was having some minor repair under the Shahjahan. Some minor repair was built under the Shahjahan, and Shahjahan used the white marble. And so far as the flooring is concerned, flooring is the latter addition, very late addition. And this mihrab is providing, and is such a huge mihrab we never come across in Mughal mosque. Now the side wings of the central nave. Side wings of the central nave is divided into square ways. These all are divided into square ways, and the arches started from the ground and cover the whole openings, cover the whole height. And these arches enclose the space, or that is square. Each wing of each side wing is composed of edges, six edges, and these six edges are equal in dimensions, symmetrical in dimensions, and symmetrical in constructions, and symmetrical in what we call orientation. And now these arches and these edges were built on a piers. No pillar has been used, and the two two edges are built on a pier are built on a rectangular built on a rectangular built on a rectangular section. While after two edges, these arches are built. These are the heavy arches. These are the heavy arches. Though these arches are the part these arches are the part of the facade of the Western Lebanon, and these arches are very thick, and they are squarish, and on section they are very squarish. And if we analyze the plan, these arches and the second arches from the extreme sides and the portals, these arches which were built on a square is from the second arches from the extreme sides indicated the thickness of these arches was enhanced just to minimize the lateral thrust of the building. Lateral thrust of the building. And in minimizing the lateral thrust, the load walls made very thick. Load walls made very thick. Load walls made very thick. And one thing here I would like to discuss is that each way is having each way is square on plan, and it is surmounted by a coved roof, surmounted by a coved ceiling, surmounted by a concave ceiling. And now this square has been transformed into a circle to bear the coved ceiling. They use the corvelling in the corner. This projected corvelling they use to convert this square in the circle. In other words, the phase of transition has been introduced here, but phase of transition is not divided in two stages, but they divided in a one stage. Corvelling took place, and corvelling transformed this square into a circle, and this circle is used to place a small shallow dome above. And the surface of the corvelling has been concealed by putting a stucco plaster, and on the surface arch netting design has been executed in the stucco. It gives a impression that here the phase of transition has been achieved through squinches, through arches. And it is very interesting, though they though they introduced the phase of transition, they achieved the phase of transition through the indigenous technique, but their decoration they executed in such a way it looks like it's a purely a Islamic building technology. It's a building technology. And inner side, interior surface is plastered with stucco. These corner pillar of the arches that were base built on a square plan is also provided a arched niche. A arched niche has been provided. And this arch niche which has been provided indicated it was built to keep some items here. And these are the four centered arch, very prominent arch, and so far as the height of these arches are concerned, it is just half of the height of the arch of the central portal. And so far as the height of the elevation of these side edges, square wedge of the edges are concerned, they are just half to the elevation of the nave, central nave, and they are surmounted by the concave ceiling. And here again we see the use of marble, and this was done in the modification of mosque, in the repair of the mosque during the Shahjahani period. Though the whole structure of this mosque is built with bricks and lime mortar has been used, and here the arches which was used in the central portal or in the square wedge of the edges all are true arches. It's a true technique of the arches here, and they are not false anyway. And now this mosque represents the beginning of the architectural development under the Akbar. Now it's another inner view of the square wedge of Agel. Now you see how these square wedge got transformed into a circle through the corvelling. And this corvelling was done in such a way that on the plaster arch netting has been molded, arch netting has been executed here. And here the stucco plaster was done in such a way that it is looks like a projecting arches and projecting arches. And so far as the piers are concerned to support these arches, they were having a projection equal to the arch base, projection of the equal base of the arch on all sides, meaning by they were built in such a way that now having a projection on all sides to support the arches. Arches is projected, arches is spring from this point, and all arches are four-centered arches. These arches and above having a coved ceiling, interior surface is also devoid of any decoration, We didn't come across any sort of the except arch netting. We didn't come across any sort of the design, any sort of the decoration on the interior surface of this mosque. Though the molding of the arch has been emphasized in a plaster, stucco plaster is just cut to give the emphasis to the arches. Otherwise, no interior decoration be found here. Before concluding, to sum up this Akbari Mosque was the starting of the Mughal architecture, and the formative phase, as I have already emphasized, started at the Ajmer. And Ajmer, Akbar stationed in the beginning years, and Akbar made a gateway, a gatehouse at the Taragar fort, and this second structure, this mosque which he built in the northwestern corner of the Dargah complex. And apart from it, he also commissioned a palace in the city. Today this palace is enshrine or housing a museum there. And one thing is quite clear here, that this mosque, of course, was built in the starting. At that time, we don't have the school of Mughal architecture. But without studying this mosque, we cannot understand the evolution of the mosque architecture under the Mughals. This structure, if the shape of this structure is concerned, it looks like having some influences from the central, from the Gujarat region, and from the Tughlaq architecture, or from the Khaljis of the Malwa region. As the Western Levan is having a portal, that portal, if we equate it with the pylon, so it is not incorrect. And this pylon was the tradition under the Sultanate, and especially under the Tughlaq, and then the regional architectural features also influenced by the use of the pylon. And apart from it, it is, if we assess this whole Chahartag was here, it is, if we assess, so it may be possible Akbar introduce all these features here, like the Levans, side wings of the Western Levans are divided in squares Chahartag, and this tradition Babar introduced in the Kabuli Bagh Mosque, introduced in Kachpura Mosque of Agra. So we can say like Kabuli Bagh Mosque, Kachpura Mosque, this mosque also represents the starting of the any beginning years of the Akbar, and these square ways are surmounted by a small shallow domes. These small shallow domes are above these squares bays are surmounted by the small domes and shallow domes, and these domes are also known as, you can say, cupolas. And this plan, he of course, is highly influenced by Central Asian features. And Babur introduced first in Khurasanian and this four-quartered mosque type, each and everything. And if it migrated to Ajmer, it means the credit goes to Akbar. Akbar started his school of architecture from this mosque. This mosque, though was constructed with the brick and lime mortar, has been used to plaster. And here the on the name of decoration, neither we come across calligraphy nor arabesque and nor any floral designs. It's a very simple structure, or it remain very simple. Now the is second important mosque which I would like to discuss here is the mosque built by Shahjahan. Mosque built by Shahjahan. This mosque is situated in the southwest corner, in the southwest corner of the structures, southwest corner. So far as this mosque is concerned, its structure aligned on north-south axis is aligned on north-south axis. It is this mosque is built on a project. This mosque is built on a oblong plan, and now this mosque is composed of only a western lever. Unlike Akbari Mosque is built on a traditional plan having a courtyard, northern, southern, eastern wings of cloisters and western lever. But this Shahjani Mosque is composed of a western lever only western lever. And in front of western Levan, there is a courtyard, or rather a platform, or nothing else be found here. And this mosque was built by Shahjahan in 1638. This mosque was commissioned after 70 years of the construction of Akbari Masjid. And the length of so far as the Western Levan is concerned, Western Levan is aligned on a north-south axis. From its length from north to south is 45.13 meter, while its width means east to west, it is only 16.16, 16.25. And Shahjahani Mosque inside the Dargah complex in itself indicated Shahjahan was also having a faith in the Sufi, in the Muhyiddin Chishti, so he commissioned this mosque. And this mosque is very interesting. The Western Levan is divided into central nave and 5 aisles on each side. Central nave and 5 aisles on each sides are double ways deep. In other words, we can say the whole Western Lebanon is divided into 22 square ways, and these ways have been created by the pillars and arches. And to the northern and southern side, these edges also provide access to a oblong chamber, and this side edges and oblong chambers are connected through the two gateways. The chambers are the unique feature of the Shahjani Mosque. We can come across such type of the chambers on northern and southern extremes, and the chambers are meant for the tajwi or for the use of women. And this Western Lebanon is existing on a raised platform, and three staircases has been provided to enter to reach the terrace of floor of the Western Lebanon. One staircase existed in front of the nave, second existed in the central edges out of five edges of a wing on both sides. On both sides. The whole structure is built with white marble. Is built with white marble. Here the pillars have been used, and these pillars are four-sided projection, having a four-sided projection, and these projection gave the support to the arches which are based on the pillars. And its facade is composed of 11 arched opening, and these arches having a having a prominent moldings outside, and these arches are fixed in a rectangular frame, and the spindle is decorated with a flown lotus, decorated with this flown lotus. The molding of the arches have been emphasized. Everything is done in the white marble. And at the pillars, they put a brackets. These brackets are a corvalled brackets, and these brackets in turn supports a projected dropping eaves, and these dropping eaves got support of these brackets. At all the pillars of the facades, brackets have been built to support the dropping eaves. Above this dropping eaves, having a cornice, projected cornice, and above the railing was built with white marble inscribed in designs that is typical to the Shahjani period. And this design is having a flower inside and the scrolling on the other side. Everything has been engraved very beautifully here, and above these railing of the stone, the skyline has been built with a minar surmounted by the flown lotus. These are the octagonal minars. Each minar is placed on the pillar, meaning by there are 13-14 pillars, each is having a minars. The skyline is dominated by these cylindrical, by these minars, and these minars are inscribed in zigzag pattern that is known as chevron pattern. Chevron pattern was used by Shahjahan on a large scale. Here everything has been built in a white marble. I have already told you this. It is built on a raised platform and three staircases with the with side stones has been built rather and carved out in a stone, white stone, and has been fixed with the main structure. The staircases were built with the main structure, and the outer side of the floor of the western Levan, some stone railings have been built, and these stone railing, white marble stone railing, is having a small pillar in the pillar, and in between these two pillars having a stone, and it is inscribed in a panel form. It is inscribed in a panel form. And the floor in front of this mosque has been inlaid with white marble, has been inlaid with white marble. This mosque is a great achievement in the Mughal architecture, as it is neither not of any single part of this mosque has been made prominent, and this mosque, since built with white marble, and here the inlay work is conspicuously absent. We didn't come across any inlay work. The facades of the plinth of the western Levan is engraved in the form of a panel, and these panels were having a lining that is engraved. Some panels are laid horizontally, while some small panels are built vertically. And this mosque structure is thoroughly dominated by, so far as the decoration is concerned, this mosque is dominated by the engraving, and no floral designs be come across here, and whatever be found here, it is a molding of the arches, and arches built as a rope molded arches. And now you see these are the rope molded arches we found here, and Sahajah is known for two type of the arches, rope molded arches or multi-cusp arches. And so far as its elevation is concerned, it is flatly roofed above, and it is not surmounted by dome. It is in itself a surprising why this structure has no dome, since known for the construction of the buildings surmounted by dome. And this type of the structure generally without dome was the tradition of the Jahangiri architecture, but we have a records and the construction and a pattern architecture employed in this building that indicated it was built by Shahjahan. And this structure is a very beautiful structure existing inside the Dargah complex. The meaning by Dargah complex is having two mosques. One is built at the beginning of the Mughal Empire in India, or at the beginning of the school of Mughal architecture, and that set the trend. Rather, it reflected the beginning of the some elements that get mature in the later monuments like Pistag. But so far as this mosque, Shahjahani Mosque is concerned, Shahjahani Mosque in itself is a mosque that was built when Shahjahan became an emperor. It was built in 1638. By that time, Mumtaz was already died, and the construction of the Taj Mahal was going on. And the use of white marble as a building material is remarkable, and though it's a small structure, but though it's not a structure totally devoid of aesthetic sense, it is full of aesthetism, and this structure in itself provide a developed space organization and architecture as well as building technology that is peculiar to the Shahjahani period. Thanks. I concluded this lecture. Thank you very much.